Hello gamers, and welcome back to another episode of Solo Spelunking. And tonight, as you can see from this setup here, I will be continuing my Star Wars series, Adventures in the Keldor Sector. And if you have checked out my channel, you will see that I have made a playlist with all the episodes of what I would now call the first season of this series, because as I said, this will be an ongoing series featuring two characters that I've grown pretty fond of, and that is Nash Duncan, my Scoundrel and Smuggler and Pilot for Hire, and Rhya, mysterious Eldridian Shadowhuntress. And those two have completed basically their first mission together and retrieved or acquired retrieved a stolen data core that was stolen from an Eldridian ship, and that Rhya was tasked with recovering. And I was using my Stardark hack for Shadowdark to play the first season of this adventure, and now in the second season I will feature a different product of mine, and that is Star Knave. So I also made a hack for Knave 2nd edition, and this is called Star Knave, a rule supplement to play space opera adventures using Knave 2nd edition, and I've talked about this in the past. You can pick this up on DriveThruRPG, and I will use this season, this will be season 2 of this series, to showcase the Star Knave rule set now, which I also really like. And as you remember, my very first Star Wars series on this channel also used Knave, but back then it was the 1st edition. So I'm also pretty fond of Knave. I in general like classless systems. And as you can see, I made a little printout for myself. It is a pretty thick book because it includes not only Star Knave, but also I also printed out my military Imperium source book that I made for Star Knave, and because it's cheap and I wanted a complete package, I also put in the back a copy of my solo RPG framework. And what you can see here in between is my private and personal version of my board game variant that I also rewrote for Knave, but you can't get this. This is just for me, my my private copy, and this is also called Star Knave Adventures in the Outer Fringe, which is basically what I did for Shadowdark, but for Knave. So this is my little complete Star Knave kit, and I will be featuring this rule set in this season together, of course, with my solo RPG framework. So this is the single variant that I printed out in color, and I will also be using this product in this season. All right, so what I did, of course, and I will show them to you real quick, I converted my characters to Knave 2nd edition, and at the end of the last season I treated myself to a level up, because I figured after, I don't know, 15 episodes or so, my characters deserved a level up. So they are now 2nd level, and I converted them to 2nd level Knave using my Knave rule set. And so yeah, Nash Duncan, he's a human, and I put Scoundrel in the class section, but of course this is just how I play him. Knave, as you know, does not have classes, so he's neutral. He's level 2 now, and I got really unlucky with my hit points, because by my character creation rules that are in my Star Knave, space opera heroes are a little bit more capable than fantasy heroes, so you get to distribute 6 points instead of 3, and you also start with your full complement of 6 hit points. However, when I leveled up, I used the rules as written in Knave, which means you re-roll your hit points, and if you don't roll higher, your hit points only increase by 1. And you see, those of you following along for a while, you know my luck. So he's got 7 hit points. So what does that mean? Of course, this means that when I was rolling my 2d6 to get my hit points for second level, I was not able to get anything higher than 6. So they increased by 1. So I got 7 hit points, which is not a lot. However, as also in my Shadowdark season, I will be using the damage conversion rules for incoming damage only from Scarlet Heroes, Blackstream Solo Heroes by Kevin Crawford, but they're basically the same as the Scarlet Hero ones, and you can get them for free on DriveThruRPG. And I want to give a big shout out here to Matt Jackson for creating these wonderful character cards that he created for Shadowdark. So check out his blog. I will link it in the description, and there you can find these wonderful character cards for Shadowdark, but they can also be used for Knave. All right, so I got in Knave, you choose 2 careers when you start the game and create your character. So I chose the Smuggler career and the Conman career. And I filled almost all my gear slots except 1 with my equipment. And I got a strength of, so I got 9 points total, because 6 for starting, and then when you level up you get to raise 3 by 1. So I got strength +1, dexterity +1, constitution 0, intelligence +1, wisdom +3, and charisma +3. And the good thing is, if you remember Nash in Shadowdark, he couldn't really hit anything because he had like +0 on his attack roll. However, Knave uses wisdom for ranged attacks, and my wisdom is +3, so which means I've become a much better marksman now. I attack +3 with my DL44 heavy blaster, my stock blaster, and I got an AC of 13, because in Knave you start with a base of 11, and I added 2 armor points for my padded armored leather jacket and also my padded leg wear. So I got an AC of 13. So that's Nash. And now for Rhya. She also got unlucky with her hit points, 7 hit points as well, for the same reasons. So she's an Eldridian Shadowhuntress, also neutral. For her careers, I picked Infiltrator and Scout, because this fits with the theme of this sneaky, perceptive, infiltrating, hide in shadows kinda hunter that she is. And she's got strength 1, dexterity 3, constitution 1, intelligence 1, wisdom 2, and charisma 1. And she's got an armor class of 13, and if she uses her Shadow Blade, which is the Eldridian version of a lightsaber, she gets +1 armor point. You can find all this in my Star Knave rule set. So her AC is either 13 or 14. And she is able to use the Force. So these are my 2 characters that I've grown pretty fond of. And another thing, also in this season, I'm also trying to build up the relationship between these 2 characters some more. So obviously Nash, he's got the hots for Rhya, because she is like mysterious, she is beautiful, she is tough and self-reliant, and so he is actually pretty fond of her, almost as Han was of Leia. So I figured, how could you basically implement this in a sort of mechanical sense into the story? and there's a Redditor that posted something on Reddit in the Solo RPG subreddit, where he basically designed a system for relationships in solo RPGs or RPGs in general, where you can collect affection points, and if you've reached a certain threshold, your relationship level shifts, sort of like in video games when you, as it is called now, romance a character, like in Baldur's Gate when there's all this attitude indicator. So I took this as inspiration. The system was very elaborate and very detailed. I don't need it that detailed, but I took the core concept of this system, and if it's not too far buried in the Reddit subreddit, I also will link it in the video description. And I have decided that in order to be able to have like a slight chance of romancing Rhya, because she's like kind of cool and reserved also, but we have been through a couple of things together. I've saved her life twice, if you remember. I figured, all right, so what is like willpower and strength of mind? Of course, wisdom. So her wisdom defense is 12. So I figured I would need 12 affection points to be able to possibly romance her with like some sort of skill check. And so I went through the first season again, looking for things where I might have gotten on her good side to already collect some affection points. And so far I got 7 from 12 needed. So this is what I got. I got, for saving her life, that was worth 2 affection points for me. And if you remember, I saved her life twice when she went down, and basically in the last second I injected a medpack and was able to defeat the remaining enemies. So I saved her life twice, so that is 4. And then in I think it was the very first or second episode, when I had this skill challenge where I had to evade this space creature. And remember, this was like the first time when Rhya sort of, not really felt vulnerable, but realized that she has to trust someone else now, because she's like in a hostile environment, deep space, that she can't really control. And she made this remark that she noted my skill, so that was worth 1 affection point in my book. And then we did our sparring session, and where I was able to nick her, to hit her, because she wasn't wearing her armor, with my stun blaster. So that's 1 point for me, because she's like a trained warrior, and she respects combat prowess and this fighting together, hunting together. So that was worth 1 point for me. And then, because we completed this task together, that was worth 1 point in my book as well. So that adds up to 7 from 12 that I possibly need, or that I need to possibly romance her. But it's over half, so she is kind of warming up to me. She's a little bit interested, but it's I'm not quite there yet. So this is just a little background information, how I will try to focus on the relationship of these two characters as well in this season. So I think that is enough talk. So let's take a look at the time. 14 minutes, so I might put a timestamp here when actually gameplay starts. But but I think you should also watch this to get an idea of what I'm doing here. All right, so let's get into it. So we let me turn my timer around here. So we ended basically the last season with us having obtained the data core by bluffing, and we avoided a fight. So Rhya, she used the Force. I was using my Silver Tongue Conman now ability to basically con our con the data core into our hands, and we head for Nash's starship, which is this one here, the Versatile Rust Bucket, an old Corellian Engineering YR1080 light freighter, a predecessor to the successful YT line of freighters, and I completely made this up. And these are the stats, also converted to Knave, which are basically the same. You just got to increase AC by 1 because the base in Knave is 11 instead of 10. Everything else you can just use out of the book, basically from Shadowdark. So we head towards our starship, or my starship, and we take off into space because we don't have any time to waste. We can sort out everything. We still need to sort out, of course, also my payment. We can sort this out all later. We just need to get away. So I jump into the pilot seat, and Rhya, she takes it's a seat at the co-pilot seat. I request docking clearance, and I'm granted clearance, and I head off into space. And while I'm heading off into space through the atmosphere, so as a reminder, we are on Calcareous in the Keldor Sector, which is a wretched hive of scum and villainy, controlled by a Hutt cartel, and this is in the Outer Rim, close to Hutt space. I'm asking Rhya, so let's get out of here. We got the data core. So where should I go? Where should we go? Where will this data core be picked up or delivered? And she looks at me and goes, I don't know yet. Just get us someplace into deep space, out of this system where no one can find us. And when we are there, I would need to use your hyperspace transceiver to set out an encrypted communique to my people, letting them know that I have accomplished the mission, and let them know our coordinates. And then I'm pretty sure we will get further instructions. Either they will come to us or they will provide us with a pickup point. All right then, let's hope there's no trouble while we make our calculations and head for the edge of the gravity well. All right, so this is where my solo RPG framework comes in, because it has a procedure for leaving a planetary system after takeoff. Of course, we have to check for a random encounter on our way to the jump point, and we are in a low security system, so we actually have a 3 in 6 chance that something is happening. It doesn't necessarily have to affect us, but might be something happening. So let's see. It is on a 1, 2, 3. A 6. Whew, we are lucky. All right, so lucky us. So actually, maybe it's because it is late. System space is actually clear, and I go like, whew, looks good. I got nothing on the scopes, and we head for the gravity well. And while we head for the gravity well, I go, all right, then I just make a little micro jump into deep space. No fancy calculations. We don't want to risk anything, just to get us out of the system. And then, yeah, it'll be very, very hard to find us. We are basically a tiny needle in a huge haystack. So let's go. All right, so I do make my calculations, and then I pull back the lever. So actually there is, in Star Knave, there are rules for calculating hyperspace jumps, but for this little micro jump, even, or especially as we are not threatened by anything, I decide I will not make a check. So usually here it says under hyperspace travel navigation, we have 2 options. We can use a well-established hyperspace lane or a completely new route. So we are not using a hyperspace lane, but we also don't really want a completely new route. We just want to get out of the system. So we also don't really have to deal with travel times or anything. It's just like, I don't know, maybe like in half an hour micro jump traveling through hyperspace. So it'll be, I say, a DC 13 int check to see if if we manage to enter hyperspace. And of course I also lost my Smuggler's Luck ability, but 15, or Scoundrel's Luck ability. Yeah, so I just use coordinates or calculations that I did before when we were traveling completely new to the edge of the nebula. So we still got some astrogation data that I can use. So I basically use what I already have and just make a small micro jump towards the Keldor Nebula, and there we will stop. All right, so it just only takes us, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. So we are there. And I go like, well, we're here. And please don't take this the wrong way, but do you know how to operate the comms? Or do you need a refresher? And I smile at her. And she sort of like looks at me and tilts her head slightly. Well, I might not be a good pilot, but of course, I know how to use a standard communications array. I don't want to be rude, but do you think it is possible that I can have a little privacy while I'll make this transmission? Sure. I can give you access to the comm system from your cabin. You can set up your transmission there. And don't take this the wrong way either, but there's still the slight issue of payment. So maybe you could address this issue as well when you contact your people. And she looks at me. Yeah, I will. And then she leaves and sets up a transmission. And then she comes back. Maybe it only takes her like 10 minutes or so. And for those of you little sidebar here regarding communications. So I'm going by the old West End Games D6 lore basically, and their starships, they have like subspace transceivers, which basically allow for almost not real time but very quick audio communication over several dozen light years. This is what ships use for emergency transmissions and stuff. And then we have hyper transceivers, which are a little bit more sophisticated, but usually only like on larger ships. And then the basically state-of-the-art communications, of course, is the HoloNet, which is restricted in the time of the Empire to military use. So, but every ship carries a subspace transceiver to send out distress calls and to contact other ships, etc. But no holographic transmission or anything possible, but audio that is possible. And so she goes, yes, I was able to reach someone, and they will be here within 6 hours. All right then, so I'll hold position, and I guess this is the first time we can actually really relax for a while. So we got the data core, Nobody is chasing us at the moment. Hopefully nobody knows where we are. Whew. I don't know about you, but I'll need to, catch some sleep, prepare a nice meal, and just let me know if anything pops up that requires my attention. But I also got the sensors on high alert, so if everything or if anything should happen, they will alert me in my cabin. Yeah, I think you're right. We should get some rest. We don't know how long this period of quiet lasts. All right, so we head into our cabins, and indeed this is like the first time where there's no pressure, no time limit. So I refresh myself and take a little nap, and then after 6 hours, beep 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 beep, there is an incoming vessel. So we head back to the cockpit. We get a picture here of the vessel that is approaching, because it is similar to the vessel, the derelict vessel, similar in design that we had to explore to retrieve the data core. And it's a smaller vessel. Just 1 second here. Hopefully, yeah, here I got it. All right, so very nice, sleek looking vessel. So let's see, can you see this? Yeah, so this is also almost organic looking with long elongated lines and a chrome finish, and it features very artistic markings on the hull. So this vessel, pretty sleek, pretty nice looking vessel, approaches. So it emerges out of hyperspace, and it hails us. Yeah, so I let me just stand this up here. So as a little backdrop, I'm gonna put it a little bit more like so. Let's check the camera. All right, yeah, so this vessel appears and I can see it from the cockpit window, and I'm like, damn, that looks fancy. I mean, it looks like your people know how to build starships. Wonder that not everybody is a born pilot. I mean, with ships like this, don't you feel the urge to jump into the cockpit and handle the controls? And she just looks at me and goes, no, I prefer the test of skill and personal combat. Well, you know, a dogfight can be a pretty intense test of skill as well, especially against a superior vessel. Well, no offense, but she looks around. I don't know if your ship can handle a superior vessel. Hey, nothing against the good old versatile rust bucket. She has never let us down. She's gotten us where we needed to go and back, and we're still here. Yeah, you're right. All right, so we are hailed. YR 1080 vessel. we are here to pick up an item. Please allow us to dock and come aboard. Sure, use the upper hatch, I go. So, should we greet your people? Yes, but it would be best if you let me do the talking. Of course. All right, so, and then, yeah, the hatch opens and another, I do not have a fitting miniature, but another Eldridian female appears. So it seems like that these operatives, or this order that Rhya belongs to, that they're mostly female. This female, she looks slightly older, but still the species, it seems that aging is pretty slow in their species or in their DNA. So you can tell that she looks older than Rhya, but she's also not looking old, and her hooded cloak is really dusty and worn, and it has definitely seen better days. So you could actually exchange it, but for some reason this individual, she didn't want to, so she's wearing this very dusty, very worn hooded cloak, and underneath this hooded cloak she wears not this leaf skin armor that Rhya is wearing, but a different kind of strange, organic, almost wooden armor that almost looks like in a form of plate armor. So it's still, she still has this body glove, but like with chin guards and thigh guards and a breastplate and arm guards, but they do not look heavy. So this individual, she still moves graceful, and it appears that this armor is pretty light. And a little OOC info here, what she is wearing, and this is a reference to this Star Wars campaign that I did like over 20 years ago when this race and culture was established. She is wearing Koinite battle armor, which is so the Koinites, I think I mentioned this before, they're like the Star Wars Klingons, if you will. So they're an honorable warrior culture, and they're introduced in the Planets collection or in one of the Planets of the Galaxy books. And in D6 standards, this armor provides a +D energy protection against damage with only a -1 dexterity penalty, and it is made out of the fibers or wood of the Waltzor plants, which is a plant found on the planet Coin. And these Koinites, they are well known in the galaxy as mercenaries. There's a mercenary guild of Coin, and they are like a proud warrior culture. But I don't know all this. They're pretty secluded as well. But for a non-Koinite to wear this kind of armor is a pretty big thing. So whoever this individual is, she must have done something to earn this armor. So this individual appears, and Rhya, she nods slightly, and then they converse in a foreign or alien language that I do not really understand. It sounds pretty melodic, but I don't understand anything. And then Rhya, she hands over this data core, and then she gets a wooden box, which is about like this big, which is like a wooden box, also engraved with fine symbols and carvings, and also a little, like a basically like little leather bag, leather pouch. And then Rhya, she nods again. They exchange a few words in their native tongue, and then this individual leaves. And then she faces me again, and and I go like, well, that was quick. So who was that? She looked pretty, I don't know, some mixture of intimidating, graceful, authority. And Rhya just goes, she was one of the older sisters of our order. She has been in this line of work for a lot of years longer than I have. Okay. So this order, and then the ship leaves and re-enters hyperspace. So it is gone. So this order you were talking about, care to share any more details about it? I mean, we have been through a couple of things together now. Don't you think I can get a little insight? I am curious, you know. As I've said before, this is on a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Please understand that my people are very, or we prefer seclusion and isolation for obvious reasons. I mean, as you can see by my appearance, I am not human, and we already discussed this empire that is in charge now, and they do not have a very high opinion of non-humans. So we prefer to not mingle with Imperial affairs, and the less people know a lot about us, the better. Let's just change the subject to something that would probably be a lot more to your liking, and that is your payment. And with that, she hands me this leather pouch, and I open it, and in this pouch, of course, there are cred chips. Good old cash, standard galactic credit cred chips. And I look at them and I go, that is generous. And so I count them, and because it is a total of 10,000 credits. So let me write this down. 10,000 credits. 10,000 that I got as payment. Okay, so that is indeed very generous. Well, she looks at me. It is what I think it is worth. I mean, it was a difficult task, and we were facing not good odds, but you did a great service to our people. Yeah. Well, what now? Well, there's one more thing. And she has this box that she is holding within two hands, and she looks at me, and she comes a little bit closer, and suddenly there's like this very earnest expression in her face, and she goes, well, you did save my life twice, and even though maybe you didn't realize it, and maybe for you it was not such a big thing, for me it was something that I will not forget. And because of that, I wanted you to have this as a personal gift from me and a personal thanks for saving my life. And she hands me this box, and I like, ooh, this is pretty unexpected. And I open up the box, and in this box, now I get my tablet out again, there is a weapon. And it is, of course, a blaster weapon. Just 1 second. Yeah, here it is. It is a blaster weapon, which is, I'll show you the picture in a minute. I just wanted to describe it, which features like the same design features as the vessel. So very fine craftsmanship, combination of wooden and natural elements with modern technology, a high polished silver finish, a finely carved wooden handle, and on top of the gun there is like a very small targeting scope, but it's not a scope, it's like this red dot aim pointer where you like look through with both eyes open, and you see this little red dot on the target, and in the barrel there's something engraved, a word in a different language, and this is the weapon that is in the box. And it is like this wooden box that also features like this fine design and carving, and it nests on a purple cushion, and this is this weapon, and it features the word Shanavar on the barrel. And I'm like, whew, that is really unexpected. And may I ask, and I obviously want to pick up the weapon. And she's like, of course, it is a gift. It is meant to be picked up. And I pick up the weapon, and it feels light, so as if it's like a very light metal alloy, and yeah, the grip is really smooth, and yeah, I make some aiming gestures and look through this aim point and make myself comfortable with the controls, the settings, like where to set for stun, where to change the power cell, etc. Damn, this weapon, it feels great. And for OOC game purposes, this is like a master crafted, personalized blaster. So basically it's a +1 weapon. It is a +1 attack, +1 damage heavy blaster weapon, a unique heavy blaster weapon. Damn. Well, I don't know what to say. This is totally unexpected. Well, I am grateful, and you know what? Let's let's do some target practice. And then I go into the cargo bay, and then of course they're like training remotes, and I just pew 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 do some shots, and I immediately realize that this weapon is like almost like a natural extension of my arm. So it's basically just a +1 weapon. And I point at the barrel. This word right here, Shanavar? Yes, it is a word from my language, and it means, loosely translated into your tongue, it means lifesaver, because this is what this weapon should be to you, and this is what you are to me. Damn, that is totally unexpected. Well, thanks a lot. I don't know what to say. This is special. This is unique. Well, this weapon is unique. I doubt that there are many wielding a weapon like this. I would guess you are the only one. Damn. Whew. All right, well, thank you. Your debt is more than paid. I mean, with this weapon and the payment, I can make some pretty nice upgrades to this ship. Speaking of, all right, and I put my normal heavy blaster, I put it in my cabin, and put this one into my holster. It fits, and so we should leave this place, and we should go someplace fun where, yeah, we can, I don't know, we would say blow off some steam, celebrate a little, spend the money. I suggest we head for, let me check here when I created the sector. Let's head for the Vilas system, which is this system right here, because the Vilas system is an entertainment world where the corporates from Keldor, which is the administrative hub of the sector and the regional headquarters of the galactic market leader in biological research, Genesis Pharmaceuticals. The corporates go there to blow off steam. So it's an entertainment world that features luxury resorts, mild tropical climate, sandy beaches, casinos, vibrant nightlife, nice restaurants. So exactly the place you want to go if you got 10,000 credits burning a hole into your pocket. And yeah, so what do you say? Well, we can go there, and then I think it is time to part ways. And as she says this, I'm like, because I just realized, yeah, of course, the job is over now, and she probably has other things to do. So, yeah. So I am quiet and go, yeah, well, maybe. Let's head over there and then have a talk. And she tilts her head slightly. What is there to talk about? Well, I can't drop you off here in deep space. So let's just head to Vilas, and then, yeah, maybe we can figure something out. I got something in mind that I want to propose to you, but not right now. Let's head over there. Well, you are right. you can't drop me off in deep space. So I think Velas is as good a planet as any other. Yeah, so let's head over there. And of course, I'm not moving around the space map, just wanted to... the thing is that I will use this direct hyperspace lane here to Keldor, and then from there I will head over to Velas. So my Star Knave actually features a point crawl travel system, but this is if you do not have or don't want to use a sector map. It is like a method where you could add some element of route planning and spatial relationship of systems without having to create a star chart for every sector. It's sort of like abstracted, but since I do have a star chart for this sector, I will of course use it and not this point crawl star chart travel system. However, what I will use is the travel die random encounter mechanic in Star Knave. As in medieval Knave, because this is what this is based on, there's something like a travel hazard die. So in Knave you roll a travel hazard die, and you roll this travel hazard die after every full 10 hours of hyperspace travel. And if you travel along a well-known route or an established route, the travel hazard die is a d12, and if you travel along an unknown route, it is a d20, because there's actually the chance that something happens is less, but it takes longer and it is much more dangerous, because if the calculations go wrong, you could lose your ship and your life because you fly into a supernova or a star or whatever. So, and the travel die is a d12 on an established route, and 9+ means there is no event, and on a roll of 1 through 8, and you roll after every 10 hours, there's some sort of travel event happening. So, I will be using an established hyperspace route, which is a simple procedure. It is a DC 11 intelligence check for astrogation, and you multiply. So I just say that we are basically starting at Calcareous, and you multiply this route time of 6 hours with your hyperdrive multiplier of your ship, which in my case it's pretty slow. It's times 2.5. So actually it is 6 times 2, 12, and then so it should be, if I'm not mistaken, 15 hours, which means 1 roll on the travel hazard die. So I will not roll for the hyperspace calculations, because if they go wrong I can just recalculate. It's quick, because there's no pressure, there's no dogfight or inspection that I have to avoid or anything, so I will just get it right. So we will just roll the travel hazard die to see if something happens. 12. No, it's a safe travel. Damn, no encounter in space, no encounter now. So we reach the Keldor sector, and then and then from Keldor 4 hours times 2.5, that is 8, that is actually 10. So I get to roll the travel die again, the hazard die, traveling to Velas, because it takes me 10 hours. So shortly before we arrive in Velas, it's a 6. There's something happening. So let's see what this is. It is a 6. A 6. It is an automated distress call escape capsule. You pick up an automated and standardized distress call that is automatically sent out by a jettisoned escape capsule nearby. Someone might be in dire need of assistance. So these results are also inspired, of course, by my solo RPG framework, which is system agnostic, because there's also like a similar hyperspace encounter system. So this is so we, shortly before we arrive in the Velas system, we pick up an automated distress call from an escape capsule. You can distinguish these from normal distress calls. And of course, it is Spacer's honor. There's no question about it that I will have to investigate, because there's someone in need, and this is like Spacer's honor. It's like if you're shipwrecked, you gotta help each other. So shortly before we arrive, beep, 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 there's this automatic distress signal, and I will be using, because this is inspired by this solo RPG framework, I will be resolving this as it is stated here, which is, if you decide to investigate, roll 1d6 upon arrival. On a 1, it's a pirate slaver ambush. They transmitted a fake signal to lure ships to their location. If it is an escape capsule, you generate an NPC occupant. Alright, so I head over there. So I talk to Rhya. Looks like our visit to Vilas is a little bit delayed. There's a distress signal, an automatic one, from a jettisoned escape capsule. So we gotta investigate. It's Spacer's honor. Someone might be in need. She just nods. So let's see. No, it's not a pirate ambush. Alright, so we arrive at the coordinates. At the very edge of the Vila system, so still in deep space, but close to the Vila system. There's this escape capsule drifting, so let's just make it interesting and roll percentile dice to see in what kind of shape this capsule is. So the higher I roll, the better the shape. So if it's at 100%, it's like in perfect shape. Otherwise, it might be... Oops, doesn't count. Got to roll in here. Oh, 51. So it is barely holding together. So it is at 51% integrity, if you will. So yeah, as we approach, I see that the energy signature, the readings, they are pretty low. And damn, the energy readings are pretty low. Looks like this capsule has been out here for a while. Damn, I can't understand it. It's close to a system. Someone must have picked it up. We better hurry. I gotta see if I can dock. Okay, so and Rhya, while I'm docking, she closes her eyes and focuses and wants to use the force, of course, and use the aspect of sense to see if there is someone still alive in this capsule. And sense is wisdom. And yeah, sense to locate. So look, this is also an example. You sense to locate survivors in the wreck of a crashed starship. Wisdom DC 11. And if you use the force using my Star Knave system, if you roll a successful check, one inventory slot, and I took this from Cairn, is filled with exhaustion. So it is strenuous to use the force, but this exhaustion is regenerated pretty quick. So after 1 hour, let me check this. Yeah, recovered much faster than wounds. A night of undisturbed rest. No, a night of undisturbed rest restores all hit points and removes all exhaustion, but only heals 1 wound. And also, if she fails, and this is like from Shadowdark, she can't use this aspect of the force, so the sense aspect, until she completes a rest. But it's a DC 11 wisdom, and Rhya's got wisdom +2, and she's using the purple D20. So while I'm trying to dock, she is, yeah, she senses. 10 + 2, that is 12. DC is 11. So let's see if indeed the occupant is still alive. I said that the integrity of the the escape capsule is 51, so that is also the chance that there's someone alive in there. So let's see, 51. Ooh, 84. So yeah, I'm about to dock as Rhya goes, "We are too late. There is no one alive in there." And I turn around. "How can you know that? The readings are weak." "I just know, but if you feel better, check for yourself. But I'm sorry, we will only find a corpse there. I do not sense any life remaining." "Whatever you say, but I gotta see for myself." All right, so we dock and I open the hatch, and indeed, let's see, even is female, odd is male. Odd a male, so there's indeed a dead body in there. A corpse, looks pretty cold bluish. Let's generate an NPC here. Oh, yeah, so from the framework to see if I can get an idea what is in there. So NPC generator. Let's see, species, D10. 8 is a common alien in the Star Wars galaxy, because this is system agnostic. So I say this is a Bothan. That was the first thing that came to mind. It's a Bothan. And let's see, the profession might give us a hint of how this guy looks. 5, a technician. Okay, so a Bothan technician. Let's just check his body. I mean, personality, he's dead. With a muscular body. All right, so in this escape pod, there's indeed a well-built, muscular-looking dead Bothan, cold and stiff, and he's wearing a technician suit, like a cover or overall, and he's got a tool belt, he's got some tools, and a little pouch that he has slung around his torso that contains some electronic measuring and sensoring equipment. And because I just had an idea, he features his technician suit has got an emblem of the corporation that is based in Keldor, the pharmaceutical corporation. Okay, and this, I mean, this is standard. I mean, this is like what I said, basically the market leader in this kind of product. So I do know this corporation. So it's like if you're a PC gamer, you know Nvidia, and if you are, I don't know, a cyclist, you know, like cyclist company, and like the big companies, everybody knows them. So I do recognize his patch or badge. He looks like a technician, and from his uniform, it seems like he belongs to Genesis Pharmaceuticals. They have their regional headquarters here, actually in the Keldor system. Okay. So now I'm thinking, OOC, the proper thing would be, of course, to return him to Keldor, to the corporation, so that they can notify next of kin and give him a proper burial, and maybe that the family gets compensated and all that. Does it? I mean, I'm like, of course, a scoundrel and a smuggler, but I'm also like a good-hearted guy. I think it would be the right thing to do. So I'm like, well, Rhya, if you don't have any pressing matters at the moment, I think we should return the body to Keldor and give it to the company so that they can, I don't know, notify the family, give him a proper burial. Maybe they're searching for him. It's not far. I think this is what we should do. And she just nods. I do not have a new assignment at the moment. So for me it makes no difference if we go to Vilas or Keldor. I think you are right. It would be the right thing to do. Alright then, let's head over there. And so we were at the edge of the Vilas system basically, so it's another 10 hours. So let me check. Travel hazard die. Exactly 10 hours. 4 times 2 times 2.5, I think it is. 10, but this time it's safe. Alright, so we arrive in the Keldor system without any trouble. And what I didn't do when I was creating the sector, because then I didn't have my framework yet, I was not determining the security level of the systems. But since Keldor is the administrative capital of the sector and houses a corporate headquarters, I just rule that it's a high security system. And put this in here. High sec. So I follow my procedure for arriving in a high security system. So arriving in a planetary system, approaching a planet. So it's only a 1 in 6 chance for a random encounter. However, this is now the first time while I'm playing this that we actually come in contact with the Empire. We do see an Imperial strike cruiser as we enter the system, patrolling, and also a couple of TIE fighters flying around. And let's see if there's a random encounter, or because we're in a high security system, there's a 2 in 6 chance that we are targeted for an Imperial inspection. So let's see how this goes. So first, 1 in 6 chance only of a random encounter. No. And now on a 1 or a 2, we are targeted for an Imperial inspection. And of course a 2. Alright, so we approach the Keldor system as a flight of 2 TIE fighters breaks formation from this patrol route as we head towards the system, and they come towards us. And yeah, while we are still approaching the system, they go, or we are hailed, incoming YR-1080 light freighter. Identify yourself, state your business, and come to a complete stop for an immediate, or an not immediate because I still need to get there, for a customs inspection. Alright, and this is where we leave and end this episode. Sort of like a little cliffhanger. So the first time after starting this series, we have made contact with Imperial forces. So let's see how this goes. Alright, so yeah, it's pretty slow session, but like I said, this character building is also important for me. And yeah, I had this idea of him like as a special quest item, getting this blaster pistol. And yeah, so this is where we leave it. And I'm looking forward to continue this series in its second season, which will get its own playlist. So if you like this, stay tuned for further adventures in the Keldor Sector, this time featuring the Star Knave rule set. Alright, that's it. thank you for watching, and I forgot to say this at the beginning. If you like what you see, please do subscribe to the channel. And yeah, if you want to support the channel even more, check out my products on DriveThruRPG. I got another project in the works, more on that in the next video. And yeah, as always, stay safe, stay healthy, have a wonderful remaining evening, and bye bye.